Hello and welcome, smart nerds. In this video, we are going to be looking at a question paper under linear programming. This question paper is for 2020. This was an internal paper, and we'll just be looking at one question here, which carries 12 marks. This question is in paper paper 2. This is paper 2. Okay, and we'll look at this question okay, under linear programming. Okay, so I want to just ask you to pay attention. Okay, as you are watching the video, pause the video at any time. You can reverse, okay, or repeat, okay, as many times as you can, so that you just have a better understanding of this topic. Okay, so we'll be solving this question, and we are starting now. So the question says a carpenter intends to manufacture at least 10 tables and at least 20 chairs. Each table requires 4 hours of assembling and 2 hours of vanishing. Each chair requires 3 hours of assembling and 1 hour of vanishing. There are 240 hours available for assembling and 100 hours for vanishing. Okay, now we want to point out the most important thing in the question. Okay, so I'll be pointing out the most important thing. So this here is very important. Okay, at least 10 tables, very important. Also this part here, at least 20 chairs, also a very important part. Then you're told each table requires 4 hours of assembling, also a very important part, and 2 hours of vanishing. Okay, so these that have numbers, you will use them. Okay, each chair requires 3 hours. Okay, 3 hours of assembling, also important. Okay, and there are 240 hours available for what? Assembling, and 100 hours available for vanishing. Okay, so we've looked at the important parts of this question. Okay, now always the first question here you'll be told is to find the 4 inequalities that represent these conditions. Okay, and here is what we are going to do. Okay, so I'll be making them right here. Okay, so now we are told something here that is what we are told. Okay, we are told that x represents the number of tables, so we're going to say that x represents the number of what? Tables. Okay, x represents the number of tables, and y represents the number of what? Chairs. Okay, and we are going to see how we can do this. All right, so we need to find these 4 inequalities. Right? Okay, now inequalities, these are more like equations, but instead of them having the equal sign, they can either have this sign, okay, this sign, or this sign. Okay, so this is the greater than sign, this is the less than sign, greater than or less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. All right, so now whenever you have this sign, just know that the line will be a dotted line. Okay, similarly this one will also be a dotted line. Okay, this one will be a bold line, and this one also be a bold line, and this much we should know. Okay, we should know. Okay, so here I won't try to explain a lot of things. I want this video to be as short as possible, so we'll just head over straight to the question. Okay, we'll just head over straight to the question. Okay, so the first important part here I would like to pick are these statements. Statement 1 says at least, okay, at least 10 what? Tables. Okay, at least 10 tables. Okay, at least 10 tables. So I've forgotten an S here. Okay, at least 10 tables. So now what does that mean? Okay, so we need any of these 4 signs. Okay, these symbols here, the inequality symbols. Okay, and the word at least, when you understand it, okay, the word at least, if you understand it properly, when you are told give me at least 2, it means that 2 should be you should not give me anything less than 2. Okay, if I say at least 5, pick at least 5, meaning you can do 5 and above. Okay, so at least, each time you see the word at least, simply means you can do greater. Okay, greater. Okay, so what we are saying is greater or equal. This is what at least simply means. Okay, means greater or equal. So which one is greater or equal here? It's this one. Okay, this is greater or equal, and we're told 10 represents x. Okay, I mean these tables, x represents what time. So when we say at least 10 tables, okay, at least 10 tables, what are we talking about here? We're saying that now the tables are represented by x. So we're simply saying that x, meaning the tables, should be greater than or equal to 10. Okay, now if you do not understand this, just know that when you have at least, okay, just know that at least goes with the greater than or equal to. If you don't understand this part, okay, then so now this will be our first inequality. Okay, it will be our first inequality. So that is equation inequality 1. Okay, so the next important part here is at least 20 chairs. Okay, so we're going to say at least, okay, at least 20 chairs. Now we know the chairs here are represented by y, so meaning the chairs should be greater than or equal to what? 20. Okay, and this is the inequality number 2. Okay, now we are remaining with the two more. Okay, we're told write 4 inequalities which represent these conditions. Okay, so now let's pick this part here. Each table requires 4 hours of assembling. There I'm going to be a bit slower so that you get it. So one table, okay, one table requires 4 hours. I'll just write A for assembling, requires 4 hours of assembling. Okay, and 2 hours of vanishing. I'll just write V. Okay, that is one table. And then one chair again, each meaning one chair requires 3 hours of assembling. One chair requires 3 hours assembling, plus it also requires 1 hour vanishing. Okay, so these are not the inequalities, we're just trying to understand something here. So there are 240 hours available for assembling. Okay, now meaning assembling total time that is available is 240. Okay, 240 hours. This is just for assembling. Okay, now what does this mean? This means that assembling a chair and a table, okay, assembling, so for tables, okay, tables plus chairs all together, okay, here we're talking about what? Assembling. Okay, to assemble all the tables and chairs, you've only been told you have 240 hours, and you are told vanishing 100 hours for vanishing, okay. So I told 100 hours for what? For vanishing, okay. So vanishing total time is 100 hours, okay. Vanishing, both, so we're going to say vanishing tables and chairs. Okay, I hope you don't get lost here. You have 100 hours, okay. So now we are going to start with the assembling, okay. We single them out. Assembling, okay. So we are going to start with what? Assembling. So we are told to assemble one chair you need 4 hours, and to assemble one table you need 4 hours. To assemble one chair you need 3 hours, okay. So this is what you are told, okay. So this is going to be table here we are told it's x, chair here is what? Y, okay. So you're going to write an inequality like this. So 4 hours for tables, you're going to say 4x, this is assembling tables, plus 3y, okay, assembling chairs, okay, is equal to the allocated time is 240, okay, 240, okay. Now which symbol now we're going to pick here, okay. Now when it comes to time, here you are told this is the available time. This is a contract you are being given, okay. That is a contract you have been given, and you're told the available time, okay. This is the available time. Now if that is the available time, what does that mean? It means you can't exceed that time, okay. You must do all the assembling in 240 hours, meaning you can either finish early or finish exactly at 240 hours. And what does that mean? Less than or equal to, okay. It means less than or what? Equal to. So this is going to be 4x plus 3y is less than or equal to 240. We do the same thing for vanishing, okay. For vanishing, so vanishing we are told to vanish one table is 2 hours. So we are going to say 2x vanish one chair. We're just going to say, so 1y is just y is equal to what's the total hours for vanishing? 100. Now since we are dealing with time again, this is the allocated time. This is the time that you are given and you can't exceed this time. You can either finish earlier or at that same time, so it's less than or equal to, okay. And these are our what? Our inequalities, okay. These are our inequalities. So I say therefore the 4 inequalities are x is greater than or equal to 10, y is greater than or equal to 20, okay. 4x plus 3y is less than or equal to 240, and then 2x plus y less than or equal to what? 100, okay. So these are the inequalities that we need here, okay. So this answers the first question. Now the other question will require us now to use a graph, okay. The other question will require us to use a graph, and here's how we're going to do it. So it says using a scale of 2 centimeters to present 10 pieces of furniture on each axis. Okay, so let's work out the scale first. Okay, we understand what the scale means. So 2 centimeter, so it says on each axis. Let's start with the x-axis. So on the x-axis, here we are saying that 2 centimeter, okay, is equal to what? 10 pieces. Okay. Okay, so now if you are using these graph papers, and these are the recommended graph papers for ECZ, one box is actually 2 centimeter. In this big box here, it is 2 centimeter on all sides. Okay, so in other words, we can say that one big box here represents 10. Okay, represents 10. Then you have now on the y-axis the same thing, because it says the question says 2 centimeter represents 10 pieces of furniture on each axis, meaning on both the x and the y. So the same thing, 10 pieces. So you're going to say one big box is equal to 10. Okay. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Right now, here it says, let's look at now the ranges. We're done with the scale. Let's do the ranges. Okay, let's look at this range or the intervals. Okay, so we are told you have 0 less than, okay, let's see what this means. 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 70. This simply means that the numbers on x-axis should start from 0 to what? To 70. Okay, so that's what that means. Okay, then on the y, what are you told? On the y, you are told you have 0 is less than or equal to y is less than or equal to 100, meaning on the y-axis the number should start from 0 and the last one should be what? 100. Okay, this is what it means there. So now we go to the graph. Okay, we now go to the graph. Okay, let's go to the graph. Okay, so now here is the graph. Okay, there is the graph. So here is the graph. Okay, now it's in the exam, you're going to write your name and your examination number there. Okay, now what we have to do here, we have the scale. Okay, we have everything we need. We have the 4 inequalities, we have our scale, and we have our range. So let's start with the scale and the range. Okay, now where do you draw your axis? So we always have y, and so you have y and x-axis. Now when you look at this, the range of numbers we are given here, you don't see any negative number here. So if you don't see any negative number, meaning this part you don't need it, also this part you don't need it. We're just going to make a half xy plane with positives and positives. I'm sure you understand that. So we're going to do this. Okay, so this graph should be strictly pencil. Okay, so here I'm just going to skip one line here, and then I put my y-axis like that. Okay, and because I don't need the negative, numbers for this. Okay, we don't need the negative numbers. Okay, so let me get my things so that we can draw this nicely. Okay, so I'll use my rule. Okay, so just for the sake of being visible, since I'm making a video, I'll use my marker to so that you can just see. But you should use a what? A pen, a pencil. Okay, for this. So you're going to make a Y. Okay, all the way. Okay, I will just go all the way, then like that. Okay, so then this one you can label it as the y. Okay, and then as you go down like this, you go maybe just before the two lines, you can make your x here. Now remember, we don't need negative numbers here. We don't need the negative numbers. Okay, we're just going to do this. And then this we can label it as the x. Okay, x. Okay, and then where the x and the y meet, always this is the 0, 0 mark. Okay, 0, 0 mark. Okay, then after this, now what we will do is this. We go back to our scale. Okay, here we said one big box is equal to 10 on all, both axes. So one big box 10, another big box. So if you add now 10, this one will be 20. Okay, so meaning here you'll be going adding 10. You add 10 there, it's 30. You add 10 there, 40, 50. Okay, you go like that, 60, 70, 80. Okay, 90. On the y we were told to end at 100. Okay, so we were told to end at 100. So 0 to 100. Then on the x, again one big box, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. We're told to end at 70 on the x-axis. We're told to the range 0 to 70. Okay. So now that we have this, okay, here we said the x-axis will represent what? Tables. Okay, so we're going to write here, this represents tables. Okay, and on the y, this represents what? Chairs. Okay, all right, now the thing to do now, we've done the scale and the range. Now we go to the inequalities. So the inequalities are very simple. These two especially, they are the simplest. So here, this one, y is greater than or equal to 10. We'll write this one as y is equal to 10. So we are going to look for 10 on the what? On the x-axis. We look for 10 on the x-axis. So we are going to go on the x-axis. 10 happens to be here. So we need to draw a line that is passing at what? 10. Now, what type of line? Remember, I said we have dotted lines and bold lines, and which line you use, you look at the sign you have. Those that have an equal down, they're all bold lines. And looking at this, x greater than or equal to 10, this will be a what? A bold line. Okay. So we're going to do this here. Just going to draw a line at 10. Okay. Like that. You can take it all the way. Okay. So your graph should be as big as possible, which is important. Okay. So then at the end here, you can label it as x is greater than or equal to what? 10. Okay. Nicely done. Okay. Nicely done. Then you go to the next one. Okay. Next one is y is equal to 2. So we can write this as y is equal to 20. Sorry. So we're just going to look for 20 on the y-axis. 20 on the y-axis. Then we draw a line. So the y-axis is this one, and 20 happens to be here. So we'll draw a line like this. And again, which line do we draw? You notice this is greater than or equal to. So this requires a bold line. So we're going to make the bold line just here. Okay, so we'll be done. This question is very easy and it's fast when you have your inequalities. So this one is what? Y is greater than or equal to what? To 20. Okay, and you are coming up very well. Now the last two, they pose a bit of a challenge, but here is how I'm going to break them down. Let's do this one first. So you have 4x plus 3y. So you just listen carefully here. So when coming up with the line, you can change this symbol to equals just for easy calculation. Okay. Now here you need 2 points. Okay, you need 2 points. Okay, you need 2 points, x and y, and the other point. Okay, so you need 2 points. Okay, and here is how we are going to do that, making these 2 points. Very simple. You just draw a table, a small table. You put x there, you put y there, and you close here. So you are going to put zeros. In this line, you put the 0 here. In this line, you put the 0 here, and then you find the missing numbers here. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so just put 0 and 0, and then find the missing numbers here. So we're going to start with the first x-axis. So we're going to use this equation here. We're going to write the equation. That is 4x plus 3y is equal to 240. Now, here, what this 0 means simply means that x is 0. What will be y? Okay, x is 0. What will be y? So in this first, we're finding the missing number y here. But for x, since we've said we put 0, okay? So we're going to say 4 in brackets 0 plus 3y is equal to 240. This will give us 0, so we cancel it. So you have 3y is equal to 240 over 3 over 3. Y is equal to what? 80. Okay, 80. So you get 80. So here it is simply what? 80. Okay, so calculate with me. I hope you also get 80. Might make a mistake. Let's see. 3 into 24. Okay, I'm not using a calculator myself, but you should use a calculator. That will be, yes, it is 8. Okay, then you rewrite the equation again so that you find the missing number here. So again, you write 4x plus 3y is equal to 240. So here now, we are finding the missing number here. But the 0 now will be y, okay? Because the 0 is on y. So you're going to say 4x plus 3, there 0 is equal to what? 240. So 4x, this will give us 0, forget about it. So 240 over 4 over 4. Now x is equal to what? 4 into 24, that is 6 into 0, 0, so 60, okay? Again, you should use a calculator. I'm just calculating in my head, okay, 60. So you have 60 there. Now, these are the points that we need. So the first one is 0, 80. So 0, 80. The other one is what? 60, 0. And we just need to pick these points on the graph. You've seen how simple it is, When you just make this table here, you do these simple solutions and you have your 2 points that you need. We can call this point A, we can call this point B. So let's start with point A, which is 0, 80. Okay, so 0, 80 is this. Okay, so 0, 80 meaning the y is what? 80. X is 0, so x being 0, it's here. X is 0 here, but your y is 80. So you go on 80. 80 happens to be here. Okay, so this is the first point A. Okay, and then you go to the next point. Okay, 60, 0. So 60 is x, but y is 0, and y being 0, it's in this line. So x is equal to 60. So it's here. Okay, it's there. Now, having this point and this point, you just get your ruler and join them. Okay, just get your rule and join the points. So drawing a straight line from this point up to here. Okay, so I use my 30 centimeter rule. So you should also go with a 30 centimeter rule just for in case, a longer one. Okay, so from here, okay. Why am I drawing the line bold? Because of the equation name. That's why I've made it bold. Okay. So where is it? Here. Okay. This is a bold line. This must be a bold line. Also this one. So let's do this one quickly. So 2x plus y is equal to 100. We do this. We make a table quickly. xy. Okay. Again, put 0 and 0 here. So for the first one, you're going to say 2x plus y is equal to 100. Your x must be 0, right? So x is 0. So this will be 2 in brackets 0 plus y is equal to 100. This and this is 0, right? So you have y is equal to 100. So y is equal to 100. You do the same thing. 2x plus y is equal to y. That's the same thing we did, eh? Now here, we're finding a missing number here. Your y is 0, right? This is 0, you can just forget about it. Okay, that's right, plus 0. Okay, so this is going to be 2x. You forget about it, now it's 0. 2 x is equal to what? 50. Okay, 2 into 100 is 50. So the x here is 50. And what are our points here? The first point is 0, 100. You do this and this. The other is 50, 0. Okay. So now this is our x, this is our y. X, y, so we put 0, 100. We are going to go here. 0, 100 happens to be this. And then 50, 0 happens to be this one here. Again, using your rule, you join the points. Okay. From here, I'm sure you can't see because the graph is too big, but I'll show you what the line will look like. Okay. So just to label them, this is 2x plus y is less than or equal to 100. When this one was 4x plus 3y is less than or equal to 240. Okay, now the part which is interesting now, so this is how the lines have come out that side there. So the part which is interesting now is where you need to shade. So me, just by looking at it, out of experience, I already know where we are going to shade. But let's go through it. We see now how we are going to shade, okay, based on the question. So first one we have, so the key word I want you to understand when it comes to shading, the key part I want us to understand when it comes to shading, we are shading the unwanted region, not the wanted one, but the unwanted. So meaning that what these inequalities are telling us, we should do the opposite. Okay, what the inequalities are telling us, we should do the opposite. So this first inequality says shade all the numbers that are greater than 10 on the x-axis. That is what the inequality is saying. X should be greater than 10. So the inequality is saying that shade all the numbers that are greater than 10. So we go here. 10 is here on the x-axis. So all the numbers that are greater than 10 are here. But remember, we're shading the unwanted, so we do the opposite. So instead of shading this side, we're going to shade this side. So we're going to shade this side, the unwanted region. Opposite from what the inequality is saying, because you want the unwanted region. Okay, I've shaded all the way. Okay, I'm sure you can't see because okay, but I've shaded all the way. Okay, then this one, y is greater than or equal to 20. This tells you that shade all the numbers that are greater than 20 on the y-axis, but we're going to do the opposite. So you go on the y. So this is it. So 20 is here. All the numbers that are greater are up. All these are greater than 20. But since we want the unshaded, the unwanted region, we'll do the opposite. We'll shade the numbers that are less than. Okay. All right. Then the other two. Now let's see how we can do these other two. They are a bit different. Let's see how we can do them. Okay. So the first one was 4x plus 3y is equal to 240. Okay. So here, any line that is not passing on the 0, 0, we can use a test point. This point here is 0, 0. And we can use it as a test point. Okay. So we're going to use 0, 0 as a what? As a test point. So this will be x, this will be y. Okay. Then now, if x is 0 and y is 0, if we put zeros here, all this thing will be 0. Okay. So it's going to be 0. What was the sign we had here? Is less than or equal to 240. Okay. If we put 0 here, 4 times 0 is 0. 0. So you still get 0. So now you ask yourself now, is this statement true? Okay. Is this statement true? Okay. Is 0 less than 240? The answer is what? True. Now, what does true means? True means that shade 0, 0. So if the statement is true, true means shade 0, 0. But false means do not shade 0, 0. Now, according to our inequality here, 0 is actually less than 240, which is true. But remember, we want the unwanted region. So we are not going to. So here this tells us we should shade 0, 0, but since we want unwanted, we're not going to shade. We will do the opposite, the false. So look at this. Which line are we dealing with? It's this line. Okay. So this line now, 0, 0 is here. So the statement was true, meaning we should shade this side where 0, 0 is. But since we want the unshaded region, we'll do the opposite and shade away from 0. Okay, away from 0. Okay, so to watch this part many times is where people get confused. Watch it many times as you can, as possible. Okay, then let's do the other last one, which is 2x. Okay, so 2x plus y is less than or equal to 100. So we use 0, 0 as our test point. You put zeros here, you have 0 is less than or equal to 100. This statement is also true, meaning shade 0, 0. But remember, we want the unwanted. So we are going to shade what? Away from 0, 0. Okay. And the 0, 0. So you're looking at this one now. So the 0, 0 is this side. So we're not going to shade this side, but the opposite. Okay. So I'm sure you've gotten it now. Once you understand this part. Okay. So now, good to go. We are done with the shading. So you can see the region that has been left out is here. I'm going to label it as R. Okay, so you're halfway done with this question. Okay, at this point, now we do the rest of the questions. Here's the rest of the questions. The question here says each table sold yields a profit of 300 kwacha. So this is it for the table. Okay, each table sold. Okay, each table sold will yield a profit of 300 kwacha. So we're going to say 300 tables. Remember, they're presented by X. While each chair sold yields a profit, so as we're going to say plus, this is chair, so 250 y. Okay, so this is the profit yield. Find the best combination of the number of tables and chairs to gain maximum profit. So what will be the maximum profit? Okay, so for this one, we're going to pick points on our graph, the ones that are making the boundary. So we have, first of all, this point. Okay, this point here. Secondly, you have this point there. Thirdly, you have this point here. And you have this point here. I'm going to name this point A, B, C, and then D. Okay, so let's start with point. So point B is what? 10, 20. Okay, so 10, 20. Point C is what? 40, 20. 40, 20. Okay, 40, 20. Then D is what? 30, 40. 30, 40. Okay, D is here. Okay, this is 30, 40. Okay, and then A, this should be somewhere. Okay, let's start with the x-axis. This is 10. It's within this, so 10. So it's going to be 10, what? Now this, so this is 61, 62. So this one it's here. So this will be 61. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 67. Okay, 10, 67. And we're going to use these. So I'm going to do this. So for point A, I'll write 300. Now for my x here, I'm going to replace with the x value for A, point A. So this is x, this is y. So I'm going to write 10 plus here 250. What is my y? 67. Then B, let's go to B. B, 300. Our x is 10 plus 250. Your y is 20. We are going to see what we get. Then C, we're going to say 300. They are 10 plus, sorry, this is 40. This is 40. Then 250, 20. Okay, we're going to see what we get. Okay. Then D, that will be 300 in brackets. X is 30. Then 250, 40 there. Then we see what we get. Now here, strictly guys, use calculators, okay, to find these answers. So here's what we do. So you just write it the way it is, okay, on your calculator. Okay, I use my calculator here. You should be doing the same thing also as you are doing this. I'll use a calculator for my phone. Okay, so I'll write 300, open brackets, 10, close, plus 250, open brackets, 67, close. So this is how you write it, okay? 300, open brackets, 10, like that, okay? Then you press your equal sign. You get 19750, okay? Then you go to the next one. The next one is 300, open brackets, 10 plus 250, open brackets, 20. Okay, so you can see 310. Okay, we used 10 comma, so we're getting 8,000. The next one, quickly, 300, 40 plus 250 in brackets. Okay, so plus 250 in brackets, 20. So here 310 plus 250, 20. What do we get? 17,000 flat. And lastly, 300 in brackets, 30 plus 250 in brackets, 40. We get 19,000 flat. Okay, now these are the profits now. So let's see now what the question wants us to do. Okay, so the question says each table find the best combination that will gain maximum profit. So you compare here. The highest is this one. It's giving us the highest profit. So the best combination you should do is make 10 tables and 67 shares. So you're going to say therefore best combination should be what? You should make tables 10 and 67 shares, because this will give him what? A maximum profit. And this is the answer. Okay, then calculate this estimate of the profit. We've already calculated here. So the last question D, just write this 19,750. That will be the estimate of the maximum profit. Okay, and we are done with this question. Let me know in the comment section if you understand. Okay, any part. Okay, if I've made a mistake somewhere, just drop it on the comment section, then we'll have a look at it together. Okay, so we end here. We are done with the question. That was the last question. This is the graph. If you want have a copy of this, I can capture it and send it to you. You can get my line in my WhatsApp channel. Okay, so for those that need tuitions preparing for GCE next year or even this year for some intensive revisions, you can still also contact us, okay, at Smart Needs. Okay, so have a nice day.